Epic Games laid off an employee with terminal brain cancer last week, cutting off the employee's life insurance and leaving his family to wonder how they will afford the pending funeral of their loved one. Welcome to Inside Games Daily, the only gaming news show brave enough to say that this situation should not happen in any kind of civilized society at our technological level.
Yes, if we collectively have one shred of empathy, I think we can all say that not only is this situation terrible, but the circumstances that even allowed it to happen shouldn't be the case. And yes, sorry, this one might get a little political, but that's real life, and sometimes video games interact with real life in ways that we can't help but comment on. Luckily, it seems word of this has reached Epic CEO Tim Sweeney, who has pledged an insurance resolution for the affected family. So we have an absurdly tragic situation made slightly less tragic by the grace and intervention of a billionaire. And that's America, baby. You need a billionaire to swoop down and sweep a street urchin off the street, and that's the only fairy tale we have in our culture.
Man, I hate it. All right, Jenny Griffin shared the news regarding her husband, former Epic programmer writer Michael Prinka, in a Facebook post over the weekend.
In it, Griffin shared that Mike is currently fighting terminal brain cancer and that the layoffs caused the family to lose his life insurance.
And to make the story even more despicably American, Griffin shares that, quote, because his condition is now considered a pre-existing condition, this makes me so angry, he can't get new coverage because he left the other insurance and then has to go to a new insurance, and then that is considered a pre-existing. I can't even speak. I'm so angry.
It's not right. It's throwing people into a grinder for money. I actually looked this up because I was a bit confused. I thought pre-existing conditions were illegal under the tenets of the Affordable Care Act passed in 2014. Turns out that's true for health insurance. Life insurance is different. I don't think life insurance specifically is included in the ACA's protections. A lot of the life insurance research I did, a lot of the policy holders and stuff were like, oh, you can probably still find it. It just might cost a lot more. So while they may actually theoretically be able to get a new life insurance policy, it may cost so much that it's not even worth buying. Welcome to America.
As a result, Griffin has to face not only losing her husband, but also, quote, the reality of what type of funeral or burial I can afford, how I will keep a roof over our heads, how I will protect our son and the life we built together, what will happen to our dogs.
All the things that you shouldn't have to be thinking about right now. She also reiterates the real and very human impact of these layoffs, writing that, quote, Mike is not just a number, he is a father, a husband, a person deeply loved.
That's right, and this is where you speaking to the viewer, you would have a little empathy. There are people in your life probably like this. You probably know one or two of them. And this is when you start to put yourself in Griffin's shoes. Start to have a little empathy for the situation. If you are not doing that, it's time to self-reflect. If you are not thinking about putting yourself in their shoes, maybe just reflect on that a little bit.
Yeah, and reflect on, you may be healthy now, but that is not a guarantee for life. You might think you're built different. Your DNA might be screaming at you that you're the chosen one and you'll never ever have to. That's not true. It's not. Everyone thinks that until it's them. Anyway, to bring it back, Griffin also manages to believe the best in her husband's former employer, saying that those who made the decision to lay off all these employees, quote, would not have intended this outcome if they had understood their full impact.
Okay, all right. Griffin posted the message in an effort to reach the right people, asking readers, quote, if you work at or know someone connected to Mike's former employer, please help this story reach them.
Kotaku reached out to Griffin for comment, and she shared a few more comments about this situation with them. She wrote to Kotaku, quote, we should be spending every possible moment treasuring the time we have left as tumors are actively bleeding into Mike's brain. But instead we have to rush and try and figure out life insurance as fast as possible. At any time, Mike could have his third major event and become unresponsive. At that point, he will not have the ability to track all this stuff down.
That is true. Griffin also shared that Prinka had pursued specific treatments for his condition to prevent memory loss so that he could continue his work at Epic as long as possible. So she actually told Kotaku, quote, he really gave everything to keep our family protected, only to be laid off.
Oh, man. Epic CEO Tim Sweeney responded to an all-caps post from the ex-Fortnite news account Backers yesterday, acknowledging the situation and pledging a resolution. In his post, Sweeney writes that, quote, Epic is in contact with the family and will solve the insurance for them. There was high confidentiality around medical information, and it was not a factor in this layoff decision. Sorry to everyone for not recognizing this terribly painful situation and handling it in advance.
Believe it or not, I actually do believe him. There usually is confidentiality around this stuff. So I don't think he's bullshitting.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of laws involved with that. And if it ever came out that somebody was targeted for layoffs because of a medical condition, that's just rafts of lawsuits, especially given how here in the United States, they like to hold you hostage at your job for health coverage.
Yeah, that's right. So Griffith posted an update to her original Facebook post yesterday saying, quote, "We are in talks now with the appropriate people!" Exclamation point. So that's good. She seems encouraged. We'll update soon, likely by Tuesday. Thank you.
All right, well, we can hope for a decent, or maybe humane is the word, outcome to this, as inhuman as the situation is. Prinka himself mentioned that he needed remote work accommodations in his post acknowledging the layoffs last week on LinkedIn.
Notably, multiple associates in the comments voiced disbelief that a worker of Prinka's caliber would be subject to layoffs. EA Frostbite senior documentation manager Chris Buda writes, quote, "Epic must be absolutely mental if they let you go."
And former Twisted Pixel senior gameplay engineer Richard H. called the layoff an, quote, "unbelievable waste of talent."
Yeah. Prinka posted a brief update late last week before his wife shared their tragic situation on Facebook, acknowledging the support received from work associates during and after the layoff. He writes, quote, "Log on and look at LinkedIn at the end of the day, more overwhelmed, partly with gratitude at all the folks from Epic supporting one another, but also with the sheer magnitude of hurt everyone has been put through. The scale of this layoff is seismic."
I don't know. I can rant and rant and rant about this, and all it does is make me feel awful. This shouldn't be acceptable, and it baffles me that human beings, can see situations like this happen and still think that this is a tolerable society. I still believe pretty firmly that the only way you can accept the system in the United States is if you've always been healthy and everyone in your extended circle has always been healthy. The second you try to use any of this system, it's just so wrong that not only is the deck stacked against you, even in a work circumstance, but the fact that like they treat healthcare as a product, like you're shopping for a car, with the full acknowledgement that when you're doing the shopping, you're not going to be in remotely the best possible circumstance you could be in. You're going to be sick, or somebody that you're caring for is going to be sick. And yet they're going to deploy this highly sophisticated engine of money-making apparatus on you as an individual to squeeze every dollar out of you, to tax you, to hit you with all these forms, and you've got to call 18 different places and they're going to deny you, and you've got to appeal it. You've got to check all your bills, check every itemization list, all while you're going through the biggest emotional tumult your life may ever experience. It's just not right. And it baffles me that people can be party to it or observe it and wave it away with a billionaire talking point that they've been given in a conservative talk news show or a commercial or something like that. I mean, I'm not naive enough to not understand how the system works. There's so much money in the medical industry in the United States that, of course, it's this self-sustaining machine now. But I'm just baffled that it can wreck so many lives, and yet we're still in this situation that people won't vote against it. I got more to say, but I'm gonna take a breath before I get really amped up, because not only is the situation as it was bad enough, but ACA subsidies got repealed earlier this year as part of the big beautiful bill, and now the United States government is trying to find $200 billion to fight it. No, I'm sorry.
That was valid.
Okay.
Lawrence.
All right, I'm gonna take a breath.
This is all valid, Lawrence. All the things you're saying are facts. This is not opinion. And I mean, if you really, I'll just give you more ammo here to think about this, because the healthcare industry is, people are estimating somewhere in the neighborhood of 17 to 18% of the nation's GDP. So it's a multi-trillion-dollar industry. It grows every single year. COVID really basically sparked it off, made it huge. It was already pretty big, but it's just exploding now as an industry. Jobs forecasts are basically forecasting the jobs for the United States is flat, and the only reason is there's lots of job loss, but generally speaking, healthcare is adding jobs at a tremendous rate. So what I'm saying is, yes, of course, we are staffing up healthcare and making our healthcare system better, et cetera, et cetera. We have fantastic innovation here in the United States. We always have. But at the same time, there are lots of, we all know this, insurance middlemen that are getting added to this pyramid scheme, basically, that are padding their pockets all along the way. They're padding CEOs' pockets. They're padding all the insurance pockets. It's ridiculous. It's insane. Everyone knows this. Like it's one of those things where, like, I know this. When I say this sentence, everyone knows this. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's true. If you've been through any amount of healthcare, buying healthcare, shopping around, because this is what I've done many times, having to go through the system, which I've also done and am doing currently. I'm not going to explain what I'm doing, but I've done it in the last couple of years. Thankfully, it has not been me. It's been around family members. But I've had to do this, gone through these things, and it is all broken. Everyone knows it's broken. The insurance middlemen know it's broken. The caseworkers know that. A hospital knows. Everybody knows that it's fucked. And we're only doing this to pad the pockets of 500 people. Like, it's like literally 500 fucking people that are making hundreds of millions, billions of dollars because they do not want to actually treat us correctly. So when they're turning down claims, turning down surgeries that people need to save $100 or $1,000, it makes me so fucking angry. And it should make you angry, and you should look into how to actually stop this, because this is something that we need to, vote on and speak to your representatives, your local governments, and obviously your federal government here in the United States if we're gonna really enact change. But it's an insane system, and it's been broken for years, and it's getting worse.
Yep, I've seen it play out multiple times specifically in video games with how volatile the job market is. Every time my partner gets laid off and has to get a new job, she has to do this year-long dance with insurance all over again to try to reacquire the medications she used to have and worked great. But no, every single time it's a new insurer. We want to try this first, it's cheaper. We want to try that first, it's cheaper. We're denying that. And and then she has to take all these other drugs that have all these horrible side effects just to pad the pocket of one of the 500. And yes, the United States may have the best medical care in the world, but it's not for you. It's not for you. It's for the 500. It's so that they can go into their med beds and get rejuvenated with stem cells cracked out of some baby's spine or something like that. You are meant to die. They're going to extract as much money from they can as you. You might think you're not one of those either. You might think you're wealthy too. You're not, though. Let me tell you, one extended medical care problem and they will drain you and throw you out on the street like a husk. So please don't think that you're immune from any of this. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's some fatalism in this too, because we're getting old. A lot of hey, if you grew up watching us, guess what? You are too. That's what time does. So please start thinking about your future, and please start working a little empathy into how you view your society. Please, God.
Absolutely, Lawrence. You are exactly right. Thank you very much for watching Inside Games Daily. But we know that in the last few episodes, we really had to talk about macro worldview stuff and not video games, which kind of bums us out, I'll be honest. I like talking about video games and Crimson Desert and that kind of stuff. So today's story is a good reminder to really appreciate every single day we have with our work, our health, and our loved ones. These are all very, very important things. So again, take some time to self-reflect on that. And thank you for helping us by watching our show. You help us with our health and our family members and our loved ones. We actually have some folks that actually support us directly through the Patreon that, again, help us do that. So Matt Bogenberger, BB Prime, Jessica Hatfield, Brendan Carney, Justin Wenlant, Hunter Reed. Because of you, we can actually work every day without the worry that a parent company is going to toss us out onto the street and we're going to lose our health care or our life insurance. And then who fucking knows what's going to happen to us?
Yep, I get to call around and try to make an appointment for an MRI now, so that's going to be fun.